Hey there, friend. Welcome to the Having a Mom Moment podcast. I am your host, Shannon Warner. This podcast is all about taking a few moments for yourself and reconnecting to the amazing woman behind the title of mom. You have so many plates spinning at any given time between your kids, your partner, your job, maintaining a household, etc., etc. But where does taking time just for you play into that? Let's spend some time together, you and me, right now. We're rebranding a mom moment to those sacred moments you take to fill your cup first. Let's connect, tune in, and tap into what makes us the incredible women that we are. We'll nurture ourselves first so we can be our best selves for those we pour into on a daily basis. We'll also bask in the beautiful wisdom of other moms to learn about the ways in which they've tapped into alignment in their own motherhood journeys. Come on, mama, it's your time. We're having a mom moment. Hello, my friends. Welcome to this week's episode of the Having a Mom Moment podcast. I am your host, Shannon Warner, and I am so honored you're here. I know you're so busy. I know there's lots of things to keep up with, so it means a lot that you're taking your time and treating yourself to some time just for you today. This week, I have a solo episode for you. I will be back with guest episodes, hopefully next week. But this is something that's been coming up for me this week, and maybe some of you out there need to hear it as well. I know someone else in my circle has been feeling similarly, so I thought it would be a good point to share with all of you. And if it resonates, I see you. And if it doesn't resonate, that's okay. So this week, I want to talk about what is happening in our environment around us and what it may be reflecting back to us or be trying to show us about ourselves. So let's start with triggers. And if you are following along with Healthy Table Talk, which is my friend Hannah Koshak's new YouTube live that she and I do each week on Tuesday, the first episode, I think it was the very first episode, we talked about triggers and actually what a gift they are. And in this case, for Hannah, a trigger is what inspired her to launch this Healthy Table Talk venture. So we know what it means to be triggered, right? We see something, we hear something, and we're like, ew, I hate that. Or that makes me feel a certain type of way. I'm not loving the response my body or my mind are giving to this stimulus, whether it be something you see on social media, maybe it's something you see somebody doing, and it's triggering. There's different levels of triggering, but I think we all know when we're triggered. So I've learned that triggers are areas where we're not quite yet free. There's something in that experience that we can be curious about and that we can learn from. So maybe there's a person, whether it be a coworker or like a peripheral friend or even a neighbor, where they do things and you're just like, what is that? Why are they doing that? Why? What is that? Why is it so annoying? It's a great opportunity to examine the behavior with curiosity, not judgment of yourself, and just be curious and go, there is something about them that is really triggering to me. And see if you can pinpoint what it is with curiosity. If you take a moment and go inward and reflect, you may see that there's something in this person that is also part of you. Now, that's not saying if they have an obnoxious habit that you also have the same obnoxious habit, but what is at the root of that? So I've had the experience where there was someone in a community that I'm part of who always has something to say, always feels the need to interject, always feels the need on calls to raise her hand. And that's fine. Like, it does not actually impact me at all. But I noticed after a while of existing in this space with her that I found it a little irritating. And I kind of dug into that And I realized through getting to know her more and getting to know her story that she really needs to feel seen to feel validated in her experience. So she is actively seeking opportunities to be seen. She's putting herself out there because she needs to be seen and she needs to be validated. She needs to feel seen in order to be validated. And I realized that there may be a little part of me that resonates with that desire and need to feel seen. And without digging too far into it, we know, maybe you don't know, but we know from psychology that the way we view and see and interact with the world and what we believe about ourselves, those patterns and beliefs are set between the ages of 0 and 7. And unless we bump up against something very strongly that provides a reason or a means to shift our view or our belief about the world or ourselves, we will just continue to perpetuate those patterns of thought and belief. So that means we are operating from a space that is a direct result of the way we were conditioned as children, largely in the age 0 to 7 range. Some are saying now that that could go up to 14. It just depends on which source you're getting your information from. But we know for a fact 0 to 7 is where this foundation is laid for the rest of your life. So the experiences that you have from ages 0 to 7 will impact you throughout your life. Again, unless you have some sort of experience or stimulus or something that encourages you to change. So what this woman gave me the opportunity to examine is that perhaps there's parts of me who also need to feel seen, but I'm not aware of them and I'm not acknowledging them. And maybe I'm not feeling whole in some way because I feel like I'm not being seen. And that experience is actually a mirror to me. That trigger, that person is actually a mirror to me, reflecting back something that I can't see in myself, but I see it in them. If you see it in someone else, it's because it's in you. And that goes both ways. If you look at someone and you're like, oh my gosh, they're so creative and they're so beautiful and they're so talented, you would not see that unless that was also within you. So it goes both ways. But these triggers can be such a gift if we let them be, right? And this is a practice that takes practice. So next time someone is doing something, whether on social media or in your circle, in your personal life, and you're like, what the heck? One, please remember that they get to have their experience and you get to have yours. Nothing that you do will change them, and nothing that they do has the power to change you. And then we get curious, that's fascinating, which just shifting that from, oh my gosh, why are they doing that, to, that's fascinating, totally shifts the energy behind it. I swear to you, it was a saving grace in my last place of work, looking at people with curiosity and fascination. Whenever there was something that was like, why would they do that? Why would they think that's a good idea? So remembering that we're all having our own experience, we all get to have our own experience. Being curious, going inward and saying, what is it that I'm noticing in them? And how might that be reflecting something back to me? And if you're like, Shannon, no way, does not resonate, I'll leave you with this. Remember, it's not that deep. So much of this is not that deep. And if it's not going to matter in 5 months, 5 years, let's not spend more than 5 minutes on it if it doesn't matter in the long run. And you can give yourself the permission to not give it that control over you. You get to choose. That's the beauty of all of this. You get to choose. So switching gears for just a moment, another conversation I'm having. with people around me is about the desire to kind of burn it all to the ground in terms of whatever they're creating. I have lots of entrepreneur friends who are creating beautiful offers and experiences to bring people into, but questioning, what am I doing? What is it for? So even if that's not you and you're just a mom and you're like, why did I do all this? Why am I working so hard in my career when I'm not happy? And, taking this time to be working nights and weekends when I want to be spending time with my kid, whatever your situation is that you're moving through right now, if you have ever thought, forget it, I just want to burn it all to the ground, not your house. So we're talking figuratively, not literally here. First of all, I think there's something in the cosmos right now with the eclipse coming up. I'm a baby astrology student. I'm not super well versed in all this, but I know there's something really chaotic about an eclipse season, and Mercury is also in retrograde, which I never believed the power of that until I entered an operations / logistics kind of world where the most simple things would fall apart during Mercury retrograde with no explanation. So yeah, I very quickly began to understand and respect the powers that be. All of this to say, if it feels kind of chaotic right now, and if you feel like, again, you want to burn it to the ground figuratively, I think that's just kind of the season that we're in. But look at it as an opportunity to examine your systems, examine what you're carrying, examine if it's working for you, examine what you can set down. And if there's things where this is just so hard, why is this so hard? Why do I feel so much resistance here? Consider if there's a gift in that resistance. Is it an opportunity for you to go, I'm going to rise to the occasion and I'm going to make this happen? Or maybe you're bumping up against this resistance and it's telling you, never mind, this feels too hard and I'm going to go back to my comfort zone. I'm going to go back to playing small. I'm going to go back to the way I used to do things because it felt easier. And yes, we want more ease in our lives, right? But is it easier if you're feeling stuck in a place where you're not fulfilled, where you're not loving how you're spending your days? Just something to consider. So if you're feeling any of this right now, please know that you are seen. You are so seen. And while it's up to us to move through these spaces in ways that feel most aligned, just consider the power of pausing and taking a breath and going inward and examining what's being reflected back to you at this time. And if you find yourself saying unkind things about yourself, stop. Ask yourself if it's true. Ask yourself really if it is in fact true. So I've got a lot of things going on behind the scenes that I'm excited to share with you in the coming weeks and months. In the meantime, you can always check me out live every week on Tuesday afternoon with Hannah Koshak on her YouTube channel. It's Healthy Table Talks, Dietitian Dishing Up Depth, and I'll drop the link for that in the show notes. I have a new offer available for you, a little freebie, what I'm calling the Daily Momentum Guide, and it's just some routines and practices that you can put into place to help you feel more replenished and less depleted. We know how easy it is to put ourselves last as moms, and if you need some help in that area, I think you'll benefit from this tool. That link is in the show notes for you. And coffee chats are still available if you need an unbiased third party or you're just looking for a cheerleader or want somebody else to bounce some ideas off of. I'm available for that as well. Zero obligation whatsoever. We'll just hang out for a few minutes and talk about whatever you need support with. I'm happy to do that. We'll see you back here next week. I hope you have an amazing day. Thank you so much for being here. We'll talk to you soon. Thank you so much for joining us on this episode of the Having a Mom Moment podcast. I know how busy you are as a mom, so I appreciate you taking your precious time to join us here today. If you haven't already, please be sure to follow the podcast. And if you love what you're hearing, go ahead and give it a 5-star review so that we can spread the word to other mamas who may appreciate what we're doing over here. Give me a follow on Instagram at Having a Mom Moment, and you can check out the links in my link tree for any upcoming events or offerings that I have. In case someone has told you today, you are amazing, you are loved, and I am so proud of you. I hope you have a beautiful day. We'll see you next time.